Hello and welcome back to Discovering Durham University with At the Durham Student. In today's episode, The College System Unveiled, we're going to talk about colleges and JCRs and the importance of them in your student experience. We're also going to provide tips on how to pick the best college for you. We hope you enjoy. Guys, welcome back to our podcast. Today we're talking about colleges and JCRs. Today I'm joined by Claudia and Hamika, who will now introduce themselves.
So, hello, I'm Hamika and I'm a third-year law student at South College.
I'm Claudia. I'm a third-year English student at St Chad's College.
Perfect. And we're just going to jump straight in because I know anyone watching this, they're going to have a million trillion questions about the collegiate system. So can you explain what the collegiate system at Durham University is and how it works?
In the most basic terms, a college is your hall of residence at university. But in my opinion, it's way more than that because it's a community where you belong at Durham. It's where you make friends, it's where you socialize, it's where you eat food if you're a catered college. It's where you engage in events and you develop yourself.
I would say the same. College is the social hub. It is the thing that your social life will probably revolve around. And I don't mean that in the sense that just your college specifically, though it's easier to get involved in that, but colleges in general. Is how the community in Durham functions. So your education is sort of departmental, it's to the side, but everything else happens in and around colleges.
So the collegiate system is just another layer to make your university experience unique. There's 17 colleges, one of them being a postgrad college, USNOF. So when you apply to Durham, you're looking at these 16 colleges. What factors do you think students should consider when choosing a college at Durham?
Very good question, comes up quite often. The basic thing is to understand the difference between the kinds of colleges. So the first difference is Hill versus Bailey. Hill colleges are those that are located near the science side, and they're called Hill colleges because they're situated on a hill. It's quite literal.
Go figure.
Though I will say everything in Durham is on
a
the
hill.
way to a hill, so it's a little bit misleading, but you'll figure it out when you get there.
Yeah. And the other type of college are the Bailey colleges, which are the ones located near the Cathedral and Palace Green. So there's 5 Bailey colleges, I believe, and 5 plus 10. 10 Hill colleges, and one is Hill Bede, which is neither Bailey nor Hill. So Bailey colleges tend to be more traditional, and they look they give you like old Durham town vibes.
Like if you want Harry Potter,
you go Bailey.
you go
Yeah.
Bailey, go Bailey.
While most of the Hill ones, they're quite bigger. They're more non-traditional. Except some like Mary's and Grey would still look like, they have that traditional architecture. But when it comes to choosing colleges, start by deciding whether you want a catered or self-catered version.
That's the first choice you should make, in my opinion. It's because, even like you said, location's a big thing. Durham, it's quite walkable in terms of, yes, there's hills, but you can go from one end to the other in 30 minutes if you're speedy enough. It's like location isn't the be-all and end-all for me because you move out in second year anyways, usually. But catered versus self-catered is the very first choice I think you should be looking at because I'm too fussy to be catered. Like I knew I couldn't eat just potatoes for a whole year. So that's why I picked self-catered. So definitely, would you agree?
I would agree.
Yeah.
I wrote a blog about this actually, which we should
check
link
out
in the
Claudia's
description. But first of all, catered will probably be more expensive.
Yes.
Second of all, if you have dietary requirements, you may not feel comfortable in a catered college. Third of all, if you're catered, you must return to college for your meals or not eat. So, despite that 30-minute walk, which is not big in the grand scheme of things, if you're going back and forth from the library, also in Durham, 10 minutes to people will start to feel like a lifetime. People do not want to walk 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So the 12-minute walk from my college to the Billy B is not enough for me to go to the library in the morning and come back for lunch.
It's also, it's that set times of eating. Like I wanted that flexibility.
Yeah.
Like the fact is if you don't wake up at like 8 a.m. for your breakfast, you just won't have breakfast.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Although I've heard in some colleges you can pack your lunches.
You can sign up for packed lunch, yes.
Yeah, so if you know you're going to be at a lecture at 12 and the lunch starts at 12, then you can get, you can tell the catering people beforehand and they can pack their lunch for you so you can take it with you. yeah, which is really helpful in some cases.
The only thing I like almost not regret, but the only thing I kind of like think I missed out on being not in a catered college is the social aspect.
Yeah.
Because I know like at meal times it's such a big socializing thing, whereas when I lived in a self-catered college, we all like cooked at like really weird times. Like I lived with 12 people. Like when I lived in a townhouse with 12 people, and I didn't see half of them because they'd be the type of people to like cook at like 4 a.m. and I'd obviously be in bed at 4 a.m. So it is that social aspect of meals as well that I think is actually quite unique to a catered college. But yeah, what the next factor students consider? I know what my next factor was. What was yours?
So yeah, my next factor was the type of room that I wanted. I wanted privacy. So ensuite rooms. I wanted them, but if not, a single standard room, which is what most of the colleges in Durham have anyway.
Yeah, like South doesn't have shared rooms. I know some colleges do. I know, for instance, Castle has shared rooms.
Chads does
has
as well.
shared rooms, yeah.
Yeah, and like it might like be brilliant, and you might be able to like share a room with like the person that's going to be your best friend for the rest of your life. But I was too scared that was not going to be the case.
The reason I didn't live in college in first year is because we were slightly oversubscribed and they got some accommodation in like a student building and they sent out an email that said, if you want a guaranteed ensuite single room, sign up here. And I did because I was so freaked out about having a roommate. And actually, I think that was less important than being in the social hub of college. Maybe if I went back, I wouldn't be so fussed about it.
Yeah.
I'm currently living in a single room, which is lovely, by the way. I do share a bathroom, but we have a housekeeper that comes 5 days a week.
Yeah.
She cleans every bathroom at least once a week. She wipes down all the surfaces in the kitchen. You get your rubbish taken out. You can get any maintenance fixed.
Yeah.
She comes in, hoovers, cleans your room. The rooms all come with sinks. So that's very useful for like brushing your teeth in the morning and not having to queue to wash your face and stuff like that. And I've not had any issues with the bathrooms generally. There's always one free when I need to go.
Yeah. I think for me, mine was definitely the type of rooms, but I was at South and I specifically picked a non-ensuite because it was cheaper. But also I picked South because I knew, because when I entered, the accommodation prices for all the colleges were the same. So I was like, I figured to myself, I might as well go for a college where if I have to share a bathroom, I only have to share a bathroom with one other person. And my roommate, like the person I shared a bathroom with, was never in. So it was basically like having an ensuite anyway. Yeah, it was basically like having a cheaper ensuite. But I know at some colleges, shared bathrooms, you could be sharing up to like your whole corridor, which is like maybe like 10 people. And no. So yeah, like your type of room was my second factor. My third factor, and this might be really cheesy, was gown versus non-gowned. Because I came to Durham, I knew, even though I wanted modern accommodation, which is why South was my first choice, I wanted a gowned experience because you go to Durham University, you watch like Harry Potter, and you're just like, I want that. Like I can't, like, and I've been to matriculations, and I've filmed like videos for the Durham student of matriculations, and like having a non-gown college is so strange to me because when are you ever going to have the chance to wear a gown? When are you ever going to have a chance to just walk around town?
Graduation.
Yeah, graduation. Yeah, if we make it, let's go. But yeah, Chad's is a gown college as well, isn't it? It's quite traditional in that sense. But and are there any other factors we're missing as well? Just
might want to think about small versus big, because some people like that, small knit community. So if you're in a smaller college like Chad's, you might know everybody who lives there. But if you're going to a bigger one like South or Collingwood, then you not only would have much more facilities, I believe, especially when it comes to the sports facilities. For instance, in Collingwood, they have this massive football field, for which they don't have to go to, Maiden Castle.
Yeah.
But also, you meet much more people, and you're able to socialize.
Yeah.
Way more.
Self-catered versus catered. Location, type of room you want, and also just the type of college experience you want, whether you want a more traditional or non-traditional, whether you want to have the picturesque like Bailey experience where you've got cobblestones and it's just pretty and it's cute.
The cobblestones are treacherous.
Oh,
they're really
they look
cute.
pretty.
But in the rain,
Yeah.
if you're wearing inappropriate shoes, walking to a formal, if you're stumbling down that hill for whatever reason, watch out for the cobblestones.
But yeah, also just like college amenities. I know like most colleges do have a college gym. I know South shares there with theirs with Jon Snow, and it's a quite modern gym because it's new.
Yeah.
Chad's gym is quite cute. I actually really like Chad's gym. But yeah, it's...
Chad's gym is potentially the cheapest gym membership.
It is. I think it's like £30
in the world.
Yeah.
I think it's less.
I think Butler is 20.
I think that it might be 30 for like non-JCR members, I want to say. And
Okay, I feel like it's 15.
Yeah, I think I've seen it be 15.
I could be making that up.
Yeah, that's another thing to consider when you're choosing colleges as well. The
Cost.
costs can vary.
Yes.
If you want to join gym, the gym memberships for different colleges can vary. I think for South it's like 75 if you're a JCR member.
Yeah, and also the JCR levies, the cost of the levy varies. But it's one of those things where when you come to Durham University, there was a lot of costs that I was unaware of in terms of like gowns. Yeah. Gowns are expensive. I don't know why they're so expensive, but do look out on like Facebook, or do look out on, most colleges now sell on like secondhand gowns.
Yeah, we had the option for secondhand gowns.
Yeah, for cheaper. And it's just, there are a lot of costs there, but I know with the JCR levy, if you pay it, you get subsidised events, you get subsidised sports. Which actually brings me to my next question. How does living and studying in a college shape your university experience?
I think it really varies. So I didn't live in college in first year, which I don't really regret, but there were things that I feel like I missed out on just because I was too lazy. So when you're living out, you have to make the extra effort to go into college and participate in events and meet people, which I quite frankly didn't have the will for beyond my first month of living out, which is why I actually switched to living at a closer place so that I could get involved much more and go to, reach uni much quicker than having to take a bus from out of town. So
I would say living in college in third year has made quite a noticeable difference to my Durham experience, mostly because it is a catered college. So for every meal, I come into college and I sit with people to eat my lunch and dinner. Sometimes it's people I know, sometimes it's people I don't know. Either way, it's really nice conversation. Everyone is lovely. If you want to sit to the side and not talk to anyone, you can absolutely do that too. And sometimes the president will come and speak. Sometimes the college staff will come and you can have your dinners with them too. And everyone's really lovely. And it's just a nice bit of forced interaction, which if you've been in the library all day and you haven't spoken to a soul, which can happen, it's probably quite good for your mental health to be forced to make small talk at dinner.
Yeah. Does bring me into my next question. Are there any unique traditions or events specific to your college that you enjoy? And this is where we can touch upon formals, balls, etc.
Chad's is quite an old college, so we have, had some time to build up some solid traditions. I'd say, first of all, formals. We have bi-weekly formals every Tuesday and Thursday, which means early lunch and dinner for livers in. Not lunch, early dinner for livers in. But it also means if you're a liver and you can go to every single formal as long as you sign up. The cool thing about formals is that almost every single one of them is themed in some way.
Ooh, that's fun.
So I went to the Burns Night formal where we had a bagpipe player come in and sort of serenade the haggis. We had a Chinese New Year formal recently. There's ladies and friends formals for Valentine's Week, gents and friends formals. We have Movember formals. We have dress as your housemate formals for livers out specifically. We have MCR priority formals, SCR priority formals, college tutor formals. Those are really fun because when you come into college, you're assigned a college tutor, which is like pastoral guidance. And they're sometimes academics, sometimes they're alumni or people who graduated and were inducted into the SCR in some way. And they're kind of, sometimes you have one person, sometimes you have two, and they just sort of support you throughout your university career, and then later you can ask them for like references and stuff. And those formals are always free, even if you're a liver out. And they come with free wine and good conversation.
Chad's is a gowned college, isn't it?
Chad's is a gowned college.
South's a gowned college as well. We have formals as well. We don't have them as frequently. I think we have maybe like 4 a term, and they're usually themed. South is usually themed. So South is a new college. I was in the first cohort ever of South, like first full cohort. I think Amika, you're in the second
one.
So we're a very new college. We're a baby college. We're like 4 years old, I think.
True.
So we're building our traditions as like, but we do like the typical things, like obviously we have like college parents and stuff, so we have college families. I don't really know, like when I came to uni and everyone was like saying, oh, find your college husband, and I was like, I was so confused. Like, and then now when I go home and I talk to like my friends about like my college kids, and they're like, what are you talking about?
I had someone come up to me in Freshers Week, a third year that I'd never laid eyes on, who said, I'm your mother.
Yeah, it's stuff like that. It's like being in a collegiate system. There's just these like unique experiences that you won't get if you go to university that like doesn't have a collegiate system. So yeah, any unique traditions or events specific to South, really. We have like our winter ball and our summer ball. That's not like specific to South, but I know they're quite big events throughout the year. We have South Day in summer, which is quite fun. But we're a fairly like new college, which I specifically chose South. Was South your first choice?
It was. Self-catering was the first reason that I chose it, but also the en-suite rooms.
Oh yeah, like, I chose South because it was new. Because like even though I wanted that traditional university experience, I was like, yes, I definitely want a gowned college, but I also wanted to be part of a college that I could help build. And they were like, I wanted to be able to come in and like, I don't know, like I helped set up the netball club, and the netball club's probably going to run for like the next century. There's always going to be a netball club at South. But yeah, it was a nice opportunity to be part of something new and to help build something. Like a little flex. It's not actually that big of a flex. I was the first person for South to sign the matriculation book, because this was during COVID. So we didn't have like the traditional like matriculation ceremony. So the college had to select one person to sign it, and it was me. And I was confused why. So was everyone else. Because the only reason why the college staff knew me is because our vice principal, Lee, shout out to Lee, had to pick me up from the hospital after I had lost my appendix. And like I just had like my appendix removed, and I was like, oh, and like Lee came and picked me up, and it was so sweet. But like your college staff, there's such like a layer of support. So yeah, there's that. Our mascot's an owl. Each college has a mascot. What's St. Chad's mascot?
Our mascot is a goat.
Oh.
And when you come in on sort of big events, there will be someone dressed as a goat.
Oh.
On big college days, the goat head will appear.
Okay.
And every once in a while, we have a petting zoo with, you guessed it, live goats.
Oh.
So
Owls, yeah, we
don't have live owls.
No, we have a wooden owl. We have 2 wooden owls now.
That
His
is
name's
true.
Oswald, and at every single formal we have to do a toast to him. And it does feel a bit cultish sometimes.
formals can feel like that.
Yeah, definitely. So how does the collegiate system contribute to the sense of community and social life at Durham?
In almost every aspect, if you want it to. You can definitely live your life here outside of the college system. I did for most of my second year, just because I had stuff to be getting on with within my department. I did some Durham University-wide sports. I went to JCR meeting. But yeah, I lived with all my friends, so I didn't really need to go into college for anything. But this year, I see people from college at every meal because I am catered. So I get to speak with a lot of people from a lot of different year groups just based on who I sit with at lunch and dinner. It does sometimes feel a little bit high school-y, like standing there with your tray, like, who am I going to sit with today? Yeah. But for the most part, you can scope out someone that you know and have a really nice chat. And it's a great way of getting to know people that you wouldn't usually bump into because I'm pretty absorbed within my department. But now I know people from other courses that I wouldn't have crossed paths with just because they walk in different directions. The departments are in different places. We're geographically separated.
Perfect. So support within colleges. So we've touched upon the support aspect of the collegiate system. So what kind of academic support and resources are available within the colleges, and also what kind of pastoral support and resources are available within the colleges?
So I'll start. So just sort of going in order, the JCR does have a wellbeing committee, and that's led by students. We also have a wellbeing officer who is a member of staff. You can go to almost any member of staff if you sort of end up forming a good relationship with them. I know a lot of the peoples are really buddy with the porters.
I love the porters. I honestly think the porters are they're like the pillars of each college. South love our porters. Like I've met some of Chad's porters as well. The porters are the unsung heroes of every single college because they're there day and night. They're there to keep you safe. It's just, I love them, and I love when they like make their little Instagram accounts and they post about their day-to-day life. I love it.
I don't think colleges could run without porters
anymore.
No, they're letting you into your rooms when you lose your key at 2 a.m. and catching the spiders in your windows.
Yeah.
So another thing that I discovered this year actually is the college alumni officer. Shout out Lindsay, she's amazing. I kind of decided what career I wanted to go into this summer because I'm a third year and that's something I have to start thinking about. I came into my third year of uni pretty confused and anxious about it and contacted everyone who would speak to me. And I went to the university first, and then I went to my college officer and I sat down in her office and I was like, listen, I don't know how to do this. Can you help me? And she went, absolutely, we're going to make it happen. Pulled up LinkedIn, pulled up her email and said, I know this person who went to this formal, who went to this... I know this person who went to this formal, who knows this person who works at this firm that you want to get work experience at. And within a week I had a phone number. So being at a college that has a network like that can have its advantages. And for that reason as well, I think as much as you can, it can be a massive help in the future to get involved in your college. Because even if there's not someone who's readily available to you now, maybe in the future, you can make links just based on having been in the same college. Because going to the same university it's like a little bit of a association that you can have with someone, but universities are so big that having something a little bit smaller, even if you weren't super involved in your college, you can still reminisce about common things like the social rooms or the bar or the libraries or whatever it is.
And it's like any Durham alumni that I do meet at internships or work experience are like, oh, what college are you at?
Yeah.
So it is such a like, as much as you want it to be, it can be a very big part of your university experience and identity at Durham. And I feel like people that look at Durham University, they go for it for the collegiate system. What about you, Mika? What about support within colleges that you're aware of?
There was one time that I was struggling with my finances. I just approached the college reception actually, and I was like, I need to talk to someone, and they immediately set up a meeting with them for me, which I really appreciated. And then the woman sat me in the room and she was like, please calm down, you don't have to worry, I'm here to help you. And then she helped me sort things out. I got out of that meeting. I got into that meeting like really, really worried and anxious, but I got out of it feeling really calm.
Yeah.
And I think that's the support the college can provide, and that's the impact it can have on you as a student, because you're thrown into this adult life that you don't know how to navigate, but people are here to support you. So as much as you can, make use of it, because they're there to help you.
I also find it nice that because colleges are obviously smaller than just one whole wide university, your college staff will know you by name.
Yeah.
And they'll like remember your faces and they'll like check up on you. And I get emails from like college asking me, oh, how am I doing and stuff like that. And it's really nice and sweet. And I think you wouldn't get that experience in a large university because there's going to be so many like students, so many people to remember. But within colleges, it feels incredibly personalized. I think your pastoral support, your academic support is incredibly personalized. So for instance, if you needed an extension on an academic piece of work, you could contact your college for support in going through that process, getting an email from or getting a letter from a college staff explaining to your department why you need an extension. It's, for some people, they might feel more comfortable going to college staff rather than department staff. So it's that layer of academic support, that pastoral support, and also just like that financial support. It makes university, that transition to university, so much easier, I think.
I can say that my college principal has actively made an effort to like sit down with people at lunch sometimes and say, how are you doing? Because I didn't live in first or second year, she didn't know me very well. But then in third year, she will come up and say hello, reintroduce herself, and actually make an effort to get to know everybody, even if you're not actively involved in the JCR and stuff. Yeah,
like your college staff and your JCR, they're in these roles to help you settle in, to help you have fun, to help you get what you want out of that collegiate experience. So again, that brings me to my next question quite nicely, actually. What do you see as the main benefits of being part of a collegiate system?
It's definitely beneficial in the sense that it's much easier to meet people and make friends and socialize, because that's definitely a worry for many people coming into university. What if I don't find my people? What if I can't make friends? I'm very introverted. But colleges are basically a very good opportunity for you to go out to attend these events during Freshers Week, particularly, and also if you can't attend all the Freshers Week, that's no problem at all, because events are held throughout the year. There are formals, there are balls and themed events. Attend those, try to make friends, get to know people. Yeah.
I would say that college is only another thing in your university life. So as with almost anything at university, you get what you put in. So you can be more or less involved if you want to, but the kind of core thing is that it's an extra thing for you to make associations with people with. It's the whole thing of when you meet new people, generally you're trying to connect about what you have in common, and maybe you don't have that much in common straight away, but if you're in the same college, it's another sort of thing to bond over. It sort of just gives you an excuse. Or if you're in different colleges, then you can have a bantery rivalry like anyone in Hatfield.
That's like so how do other colleges interact? So we've talked a lot about being within our own individual colleges, but the rivalries, the friendships between colleges, it's the Bailey versus Hill colleges. It's and I know like they do like inter-college sport events at the end of the year. I love the rivalry between colleges. I just think it's funny, like seeing the mascot dance off. That was not something on my like university like experience bingo card, but yeah, seeing Jon Snow and
South Owl.
But yeah, so how do other colleges interact?
Chad's has quite a good relationship with John's, not just because they're next door, but because they're sort of similar in size, and for that reason, sometimes they have to team up just to compete against some of the other colleges. We do have a Chad's John's Day in Epiphany term, which is, from what I understand, a bit like a primary school sports day.
Yeah,
like you just your college sports teams compete. I went to the formal, which was held in Chad's dining hall, and then later we moved over to the John's Gardens, and we had the John's band play and then the Chad's band play, and we did a little ceremony over who won what events. A great way of interacting with other colleges is going to their bars. I would say
college bar crawls.
Yeah, that's a big thing in
Durham. Yeah.
Because you can also sort of gauge the vibe of what the college is like based on their bar sometimes. And they have their own college drinks, which you're not obligated to try, but you probably will just for the fun of it. Some of them are disgusting, and sometimes that is the only thing you will take away from a college, that their college drink is disgusting.
What about you, Mika? How do you think other colleges interact?
I definitely would repeat the same thing about the college bar crawls. I have a friend in Mildred, and him and his entire friend group love South and the South Bar, just because they have those neon wings and they have karaoke nights quite often.
Karaoke is kind of becoming like Southside fantasy. Karaoke.
Yeah, and they love that even more than their college, which is a bit surprising.
There is like, it's a thing of like, if you don't gel with your college, that's fine, because I know so many people that have just kind of like become adopted by other colleges. Like I know a lot of people that like I've been adopted by Steve-O, and it's like I said, like you can meet your friends within colleges, but you can also meet your friends outside in terms of on your course, in sports. So don't feel like your college is your be all and end all. It is, again, just an addition. It's a cherry on top. Okay, so what advice would you give to prospective students about navigating and making the most of the collegiate system?
I would say, first of all, try and get stuck in. Just try it. If you don't like it, that's okay. You can step away. It's not going to be a big deal at all. And second of all, don't hate your college. Try not to. I know that sometimes people can arrive and it's not the way they imagined it, and it's not their first choice, and they just feel like everything is ruined. But you just have to think of it like being born into a family. Hear me out. they're with you forever. Like
no, they tell you this once you're a South student, Southie forever.
It's in your blood now, and hate them or love them, it's part of you, and you have to sort of make it your identity a little bit if you want to get the most out of it.
Also, I feel like everyone tends to end up liking their college anyways. Like I think a lot of people, especially with the ranking system now, there's like you hear about the stereotypes about certain colleges coming in, but like they're called stereotypes for a reason. They're not always true, and they're going to be exaggerated, and you're going to always only hear the bad parts of things. But honestly, I think everybody ends up loving their college. I know so many people that wanted to end up at Mary's that ended up at South instead, and then were so glad that they ended up at South. It's just a massive butterfly effect, and you're going to find reasons to find joy and enjoyment within your college. So if you don't get your first choice, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And things happen for a reason. Might sound very cliche, but you were meant to end up in the college that you did, and what experience you get from your college is, again, the effort that you put in. So if you put in the effort to try to get to know your college, to try to understand the things that it has to offer and actually talk to people, you can still get the same things from that college, even if it wasn't your first choice. And people at all colleges will be nice. So don't think...
There's always going to be lovely people everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and it's also, if you turn up at Durham and you realise there's something in your college that you feel like is missing or that you're not getting out of, you can affect that change. You can, run for a JCR exec role. You can talk to your college. It's your college experience. We've said it so many times, it is what you make out of it. And if it's something that you feel like it's missing, like I thought a netball club was missing because we were a new college. I was like, we're a new college, how do we not have a netball club? So let's form this netball club. So there's so many ways that you can make a change and make an impact. So yeah, just enjoy your time at Durham, enjoy the collegiate system, because it's such a unique experience that you just won't get elsewhere. Our last and final question of the day: do you have any memorable stories or experiences related to your college that you'd like to share?
I feel like St. Chad's Day is quite a college-y event. It's coming up actually in 2 or 3 weeks. It's like the 2nd of March, and it starts very early in the morning and it ends very late at night. And let me just tell you, you're going to be very tired and covered in green paint by the end of it. You can look forward to that. And even if you are not in Chad's, keep an eye out. You will see us.
I'm just imagining like Shreks, just a horde of people looking like Shrek running down the Bailey.
If you're on the Bailey in the morning, honestly, join in. Get some green paint. No one is going to know. Join in, make some noise.
What about you, Mika? Any memorable stories or experiences related to your college?
On matriculations, actually, we had this thing in the marquee on the riverside. What's it called?
Racecourse.
Yes. Yeah. On the racecourse. And when you exit the racecourse, or what would now be the cathedral where you actually matriculate, when you exit it, there are people from your college standing in a row and banging pots.
Yeah.
That is so cool. You feel like a celebrity in that moment.
Yeah.
I swear.
It almost, like when it first happened to me, I've still got a video on my phone from like when I experienced that. It was like, oh, this is Durham. This isn't a university experience that most people in the country will experience. This is such a unique thing to Durham, and it's just, but yeah, no, I've really actually have enjoyed my time being at a collegiate university, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So
I agree. I think it's really made the experience.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I think that's all for now. So thank you guys so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. I will see you guys at the next one. If you guys want to wave at the camera, you can. Perfect. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have any further questions or comments, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on our social media channels at The Durham Student. See you at the next one.